And we are live, or I hope we are at least. So it's really good to be with you all again. Okay, that should be working. Okay, next stream is on Thursday, 4th of September at 3:30 UK time, which should be the normal time. So hi to Victoria. I'm sorry I messed up the scheduling a bit. Hi to Julia. Hi to Oksana. Hi to Maurits. Hi to Manji. Lovely to see you. Hi to Vitali. And hi to Julia. Hi to Yuri. And here we go. So I need to put this in the first question in context, because it's sort of halfway through this was the previous question. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so the theory that dosing up on vitamin C could help fend off, good, the common cold spread across the Western world in the 1970s, thanks to people like Linus Pauling, to stave off, to keep at bay. Okay, stave off, right, exactly. So a Nobel Prize winning chemist who claimed that taking up to 50 times the recommended dose of vitamin C could handle, treat, nurse, deal, attend anything from influenza to cancer. Stave, that's it, Manji. Okay, so treat for Vitali, treat for Yuri, treat for Oksana, treat for Maurits. Hi Lando, treat for Lando. So treat for Julia. Cure, says Yuri. Yes, treat, says Manji. Could handle anything. I guess handle might work as well. I think treat is probably better, but I think handle would work as well. Deal with, nurse, no, is not right. Renyard, lovely to see you. So could treat anything from. Firdabs, lovely to see you. Although the notion of overdosing on vitamin C could cure the cold has been thoroughly debunked, many still hang, cling, bond, clasp, clutch, embrace to this belief. Treat, yes, Firdabs, good. So cling for Vitali, cling to, says Yuri. Cling to, says Lando. Cling, says Maurits. Cling for Oksana. Cling for Julia. To cling to a belief. Cling, says Firdabs. Cling for Manji. Cling for Victoria. So you cling to something. Yeah, you hold on to it. To cling to. To cleave to. Yes, cleave to would work. It's a lot more formal though. Let's see, I would say cling to 5 in formality, cleave to 6.5 in formality, maybe even a 7. To clutch is to hold on to. Remain by an idea. I would probably say many people remain with this belief, stick to, adhere to this belief, stick to. Good Renyard, good Vitali. So to cling to, yeah, that you don't want to let it go. Many still cling, hold on to. Good Vitali. Hi Patricia, lovely to see you. Okay. Cleave to, stick to something very closely. But notice Maurits, cleave to cut into. Adhere to, yes, Firdabs. Okay, so fast, quick, rapid, speedy, swift forward to today, and influencers are pushing supplements that contain up to 500 or even 1,000% the recommended daily allowance of micronutrients. So, hi PCP, lovely to see you. So, Vitali says fast, so does Lando, so does Oksana, so does Maurits, so does Vandana, welcome Vandana. Fast, says Victoria, fast for Julia, fast for Manji, and fast for Patricia. Yeah, fast forward, absolutely. The fast forward on your on the remote control for the video. You fast forward, you zoom forward, fast forward for Renyard as well. Fast forward for Patricia, fast forward for Firdavs. So, despite the fact that flash forward as well, despite the fact that vitamin supplements in general lack regulation, contain unlisted ingredients, and are not backed up by haphazard, randomized, shuffled, scrambled, jumbled controlled trials. Yuri says randomized, so does Oksana, so does Maurits and Vitali, randomized, says Vandana. Controlled trials, all other factors are equal. It's a trial where you test something, but you are testing it normally against something else. You have a control group, Lando. The control group is a group that is not affected, very often with a placebo or something like that. You have a test group and a control group. And the control group, they don't have the medicine, for example, or nothing happens to them. Or they think that they have the medicine, but they don't have it. Randomized for Manjira, randomized for Renyard, randomized controlled trials, randomized for Julia Patricia, control group and experimental group, exactly. So let's see, haphazard, things are thrown everywhere. Haphazard is without organisation. Shuffled, you take the cards and you shuffle the cards. Scrambled, you scramble the eggs, totally mixed up, jumbled, disordered. Yeah, these don't mean randomised. Randomised means you don't know, they're done in a way that you don't know which is which. The gold model level criterion benchmark standard ideal pennant of medical research. So the goal, so Vitali says standard. Scrambled sound when the connection is being blocked, yes. Or they said that the Russians were scrambling the information to an aircraft in Bulgaria the other day. Standard. So, standard for Oksana, standard for Manji, standard for Julia. The sterling standard. It's the gold standard. Okay, yes, the sterling standard. The sterling standard of medical research. The problem is, Renyard, the collocation is the gold standard. Yeah, gold standard is a standard term. I love it, Vandana. Gold standard. Yeah, but the gold standard. Yeah, the gold standard. But that was it, Ursula, exactly. The gold standard. So, continue. Mega dosing on vitamins and minerals. Mega dosing on vitamins and minerals can be dangerous. For example, there have been samples illustrations, instances, specimens, events of people being taken to hospital from taking dangerously high levels of vitamin D. So instances, says Maurice and Yuri, instances for Oksana, instances for Vitali, instances for Firdavs, instances for Mangira, instances for Vandana, instances for Renyar. Instances are examples when this has happened. So this is an instance of this. Instances for Julia. It's an instance is when an example something happens. Instances, says Patricia. Okay, it's got to be. Cases, good word, Vitali, thank you. I like the synonym. Cases, examples. When something has been known, instances. This is an instance of this. So, Occam's razor. Cases when people absorbing, consuming, eating, imbibing too much vitamin D can cause mild symptoms such as thirst and needing to urinate more frequently. But in severe cases, it can cause seizures, coma, and death. Hello, son of Iraq. I did to do an operation, son. So, Yuri says consuming, Oksana says consuming. A case in point, I love it. An instance. Consuming, says Renyard. Consuming, says Vitali. Consuming, says Firdavs. Consuming for Maurice and Lando. Consuming for Vandana. Consuming for Julia and Victoria. Consuming. Let's see, absorbing, when you consume it and it's absorbed by your stomach. Eating, I've got this idea of munching vitamin D tablets. Imbibing, drinking. Too much vitamin D can cause. Vitamin D is also absorbed. It's created by exposure to the sun. So, a case in point is a case that makes sense of what you were saying and it shows it to be true. A case in point. Imbibing is drinking. Yeah? So I guess you could imbibe your vitamin D. You could even eat it. Or you could even absorb it. But consuming is much, much better. Consuming. There have been cases of people doing something. Cases when people did something. Both of those, that's fine, Oksana. There have been cases where people took too much vitamin D. There have been cases of people taking too much vitamin C. Woof, Spanglish, son of Iraq. A mixture of the two languages. Okay. Okay, Occam's razor, you were alluding to cases. Okay, yes. Whoops. Blurred. Okay, meanwhile, according to the National Institute of Health in the US, excess vitamin A can cause severe headache, fuzzy, hazy, foggy, blurred, vague vision, nausea, dizziness, muscle aches and problems with coordination. So blurred for Yuri, blurred for Oksana, blurred for Vitali, blurred for Lando, blurred for Vandana, blurred for Julia, blurred for Firdavs, blurred for Renyard. Mangira goes for blurred. So I'm glad you chose fuzzy, Victoria, because I would also accept fuzzy. Fuzzy would work. Fuzzy vision, blurred vision. If something's fuzzy, it's normally got hair all over the outside of it. But fuzzy is where you can't see completely. If grammar mistakes were crimes, I'd be serving a life sentence. Hi Ranchodas, that sounds exactly like Yuri. Okay, let's see. Fuzzy I would accept as well. Slurred. Okay, if something is slurred, this is your speech. When you're drunk, you slur your words. To slur, to speak, but to slur your words, not is fuzzy speech. Hazy is where there is fog. There is a haze coming in from the sea. There needs to be a comma there. Foggy vision. Again, it's blurry vision. Yeah, vague vision. Vague. No. Let's see. Blurred. If I take my glasses off, everything is blurred. Let's see, to blur is to, for example, I write something and then I rub my finger across it and the letters are blurred. To blur is to make unclear. Thank you, Manji. To make it difficult to read. To make it fuzzy. Blurred is fine. Blurred is normally visual. Fuzzy can be more things. Out of focus, yes. Or unclear. Fuzzy is more feel and blurred is more sight. The other is more sound, exactly. My sunglasses are fuzzy. You've got fur all over them. Yeah, blurred vision is much more common, although I would accept fuzzy vision because it does work, yeah, but blurred is much more common. Okay, so blurred vision. If something's fuzzy, it's like it's got hair growing all over it. I have been called on many occasions fuzzy face. Because of the beard, fuzzy, because there's all this hair growing over it. Vague vision. No, I don't think you could say vague vision. So in severe cases, getting too much preformed vitamin A can even go, run, lead, head, drive to coma and death. So lead to, says Oksana and Yuri and Vitaly and Firdavs and Mangira and Julia and Victoria. Lead to, says Lando. Hi Isa, been ages, great to see you, Isa. Lead to. The fur are your eyebrows, furry eyebrows. And furry ears as well. Lead to, says Renyard. Lead to, says Maurits. My car, marrow. I don't know what this middle word is, son of Iraq. I'm thinking of the fuzzy dice hanging in the middle of the car. Lead to, says Vandana. Lead to, says Victoria. So go to, run to. Preformed. For example, vitamin that is really good. Okay, vitamin D is normally formed by going into sunlight. Preformed, it's been made already. Yeah, it's not some formed by a chemical reaction. It's already there. But I think that's probably a quite a reasonable question. How can a vitamin be preformed? I would say ready-made. Too much ready-made. Ah, your mirror is fuzzy. Okay, yes, I guess you could say that, yeah. Artificial, good Firdevs. Yes, my car mirror, yes, you could, I think, son of Iraq. Okay, so can lead to. Let's continue. The clinical trials that have been done on vitamins and minerals sometimes have contradictory, opposite, incompatible, at odds results. Contradictory for Yuri, Vitali and Oksana. Ready-made, already assembled, yes, Lando, a ready-made meal. You just put it in the microwave. Contradictory for Firdevs and Maurits. Do you think I think he was just too broke to afford therapy. Poe was crazy anyway. Poe was also broke, yeah. Inconsistent, good word. Hi, don didon. Hazy for the mirror. Yes, hazy might be good as well. Contradictory for Julia, contradictory for Renyard, contradictory for Issa, contradictory for Vandana, contradictory for Manji, contradictory for Patricia. Okay, yes, contradictory. But look, so sometimes have results that are at odds with each other. Results that are at odds with each other, that are opposite to each other, that are compatible with each other, conflicting, contradictory. Yeah, this is about side effects. Please clean the mirror, it's a bit fuzzy. Perfect. Perfect, Iraq. So, no, I'm going to call you Sam, I think it sounds better. Okay. And suggest that are odds with each other. Very good, Maurits. And suggest that whether you will benefit from taking vitamin supplements relies, depends, counts, leans, draws on who you are, as well as the exact micronutrient the supplement contains. Depends on, says Vitali and Oksana and Firdevs and Julia and Yuri. An antagonist. I would say an antagonist is normally in medicine. Yes, is an antagonist makes something act more strongly. For example, grapefruit juice is an antagonist to statins. Depends on, says Issa. Depends on, says Maurits and Renyan and Victoria. Depends on for Manji. Antagonistic pairs, yes. Okay, antagonistic pairs, they're always fighting each other. Is contingent on, great phrase, Yuri. Depends on for Vandana. Are normally explicit parts of video blurred? Yes, yes. There's in YouTube. There's a section in the edits where you can blur faces. Depends on, banks on. I love it. Banks on who you are. So it depends on. It leans on, lean on is supported by, it draws on, it gets energy from, it relies on. No. Yeah. Banks on, pixelated. That's a great word, Vitali. Blurred, pixelated. I love it. Contingent, existing only in circumstances are the case. Yes. The earliest trials focused on antioxidants, molecules that annul, neutralize, liquidate, cancel, invalidate, delete harmful chemicals known as free radicals. Today's word is blurred. Yes, blurred and fuzzy, Victoria, definitely. Neutralise, says Yuri. Neutralise, says Vitali. Neutralise for Lando and Oksana. I also think fuzzy is the other word for today, Victoria. Liquidate, cancel out. I would say cancel out. Neutralise, says Victoria. Neutralise, says Manjira. Neutralise, says Vandana. You can also neutralise a threat. Very good. Neutralise, says Maurits. Now I want to go to Firdab's liquidate. I think liquidate probably works because we can use liquidate to mean destroy. And I guess an antioxidant could destroy a free radical. And I would accept liquidate, but neutralise is much better. Render ineffective. That's great, Vitali. A fuzzy feeling. Because it's warm and comfortable. It's as if it's wrapped in fur. It feels good. Yeah, I've got it's warm and cozy. Yeah, a fuzzy feeling. Let's see. You drink a glass of whiskey and you get this fuzzy feeling. Everything's it's not completely clear. It's not completely defined. It's a blurry feeling. You can't put your finger on the feeling. Okay, to annul a contract, to annul a marriage, to liquidate stock, to liquidate a company, sell off, to cancel out, cancel a contract, makes you feel a bit groggy. To facilitate is to make easier. The word facilitates the writing of essays. To invalidate a term in a contract and to delete a mistake. Free radicals are unstable molecules that react with and slash, rip, slit, sever apart cells and DNA. Yeah. Okay, yes, Maurits. The mafia put out a contract to liquidate this guy. To liquidate can also mean to destroy, to get rid of. Yes, you're perfectly right. You liquidate the business. Yes, but you can liquidate a person, to kill, to assassinate. And therefore, you can assassinate the free radicals as well. So rip apart for Vitali and Julia and Victoria and Manji and Patricia and Maurits and Vandana and Oksana. Put out a contract, yes, to liquidate. Put out a contract to liquidate something. Rip apart, to shred. And tear apart, yes. Cleave apart. Without the apart, Yuri. And cleave cells and DNA. Cleave, to cut. But without the apart. Liquidate your shares as well, very definitely. To slash, you slash with a knife. There's a sack, and you slash the sack. You rip it, but rip apart, to destroy. To slit is like to slash, but it is to make a small cut. To sever is to cut off. A severed head. You sever somebody's head. But no, to rip apart, to break apart, to kill. It should be Maurits, because I've spent a lot of years working on it. Annihilate, yes. Okay, this one I think you know. It might seem to make sense that boosting your intake of antioxidants would help stick off, cane off, stake off, shaft off, stave off illness. Yet studies have consistently shown, here's me being pedantic, that this is not the case. Stave off, yes. So a stave, fend off, ward off. What is a stave? Stave for Firdabs and Vitali and Yuri and Isa. Stave off for Maurits and Yuri. Ward off, fend off. Stave off for Manji. Stave off for Patricia and Julia and Victoria. Stave off, says Lando. Ward off, prevent. Stave off. A staff, a rod, a stave, yes. Can avoid. Can keep illness at bay. Yeah, a staff or a rod, a big stick is a stave. So you stave off, you beat it off with your great big stick. Huge pole, yes. Kendo uses staves, I believe. So, this next one's easier. I gave this one away earlier. Whoops. It's a piece of wood barrels are made of. Yes, it is as well. This curved piece of wood that you put metal rims on. Yes, that's really good, Yuri. But a stave is normally a big stick. So, for example, double-blind, dummy, bogus, placebo, fake, controlled trials led by Joanne Manson, a professor at Harvard, found that the oxidants beta-carotene and vitamin E had no effect on preventing cancer or cardiovascular disease. Thy rod and thy staff shall comfort me. Yeah, thy stave and thy rod. The rod is what you use to rule. Placebo for Oksana and Vitali and Lando. Yes, placebo. Well done, Lando. Placebo for Maurits and Isa and Julia. Placebo controlled, says Renyard. Placebo for Manjira. Placebo for Julia. Placebo for Vandana. A placebo is something that you're given that you think is a medicine, but it's not a real medicine. Double-blind, placebo-controlled trials. Placebo, I shall please. That's very good, Vitali. I like it. A little bit of Latin. So, one more and it'll be the last for today. Okay. This is an easy one. In fact, some studies recommend, suggest, approve, reminded that megadosing on antioxidants can actually harm health. Suggest, says Vitali and Yuri. Firdabs goes for recommend. Suggest for Renyard and Lando and Oksana. Suggest for Maurits and Manji. Suggest for, recommend for Patricia. Suggest for Victoria. Suggest for Julia. Indicate, argue. Smash the like, says Julia. Suggest for Vandana. Okay, it's not remind. Remind us that. You remind people of something that you already know. To approve is to give permission. No. So, recommend. No, it's not a recommendation. They say it. They think that this is true. They recommend not megadosing on antioxidants. Yeah? They suggest. So, that's the end for today. Suggest. Thank you all for coming. It's been a great class. I like this morning class because there are lots of smart people and they're not too many. Thank you for coming, Julia. So next stream is on Thursday, which is the 4th. My pleasure, Victoria, of September at 3:30 UK time. Stochastic instead of randomized. Thank you, Oksana. Stay safe. Stochastic trials. Not really, Yuri. It's a good try, though. Nice to see you, Manji. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Maurits. It was great to have you, Lando. Hit the like button. Thank you, Firdavs. Thank you, Vandana. Thank you, Renyard. Thank you, Isa. Studies suggest. Bye, Oksana. Yes. Thanks, Manjira. Thanks, Firdavs. Thanks, Ranchodas. Correcting our essays drains the life out of him. As fall is coming on fast, I'm making a cropped out gilet with an almost open back. Probably add brass buttons. Okay, a gilet sounds very nice. Thank you, Yuri. Let's see, I think stochastic, random patterned. Where was this random? Where was this randomized trials? I can't, here we go. Backed up by stochastic, so, by stochastic previous studies. Yeah, stochastic doesn't quite, unfortunately stochastic doesn't quite work. So thank you all anyway. Let's see. No. I keep hitting the wrong buttons. A gilet and a blazer. And thank you to Vitaly and Yuri and Victoria and Vandana and Renyan. Thank you to Ranchodas and Patricia and Oksana and Maurits. Thank you to Manji and Isa and Lando and Julia. Thank you to Firdavs, Alex and Dondidon. To supersede, to come after. Stochastic's about having no discernible pattern. It wouldn't fit there. No, but I was thinking about it. Great to see you, Alex. Unfortunately, we've finished. I hope to see you on Thursday, mate. So, let's put it here. Next stream is on Thursday, 4th of September at 3:30 UK time. So, thank you all. It's been great having you, and I look forward to seeing you all on Thursday.